Today, people all across America have been finding the same mysterious message written everywhere they look. It's in the sand at the beaches, written in chalk on driveways and sidewalks, on flyers, in windows. Everyone is asking themselves the same questions. Who is the puppet, and what does it have to say?
I'm gonna hold this down there so it can pick you up, and then be watching that dot as you're talking.
Okay, so what exactly am I supposed to be saying?
So all you're gonna do is just answer the questions with as truthfully as you can, just whatever you want to tell us.
It's my voice, right?
Yes, exactly. That's what we're going for. All right, here we go.
I'm Tucker Thomas, and I'm 11, and I was Charles' puppeteer 3 years ago. He was my mom's puppet to teach her kindergarten students how to be nice and share and all that good stuff. She brought him home during Corona, and I was bored, and I started playing with him, and all of a sudden he began to talk.
So on his own?
No, like through me, like I was the puppet, and he had something to say.
Well, something about the puppet got it into the little boy's head that something needed to be said, and people needed to hear it. And what he came up with was a remarkable plan that changed the world as we know it.
In your own words, what happened on September 3rd, 2020?
So that was like 3-ish years ago?
It had to do with the puppet.
Hold on, was that the chalk thing?
Wasn't it about like the puppets and the chalk? Well, I was walking on the beach, usual morning walk, and I found some writing on the sand.
It was the beginning of a new era.
Hello everyone, I'm Jessica Ross. I'm reporting today from Tallahassee, Florida, where I'm at the site of yet another of the mysterious puppet messages. I'm here with Opal McNow. Now, Opal, can you tell me, did you write this message?
Yes.
Now, what does this message mean? Can you tell us what it means?
It's a secret.
It's a secret, okay. What is it a secret for? What is it a secret about?
It's a secret.
Can you tell us anything else about it?
It's a secret.
Okay, thank you, Opal. Back to you in the studio, Alex.
I got an email from my cousin, and she said, if you think adults need to listen, then write the secret code on your driveway, and I did.
I told as many kids as I could to tell as many kids as they could to write the secret code. The puppet has something to say. The next morning, when I woke up, I was surprised it had become so big so fast, and I wasn't sure if I was ready to do the next step.
The puppet will speak in 10 days.
September 5th, 2 days after the messages first started popping up, ABN News received an anonymous call saying the puppet would speak in 10 days. Everyone was terrified. Nobody knew what was going on.
I just remember everybody being so confused. Was it a threat? A warning? An alien attack? Something political? Nobody could figure it out. There was just a lot of confusion around it.
Folks, we have a very special guest lined up for you tonight. 2 weeks ago, it was nothing more than a children's toy. Now, when you walk outside, it's raining in the streets. In case you haven't heard, the puppet has something to say. Who is the puppet? What does it have to say? Well, tonight, finally, the puppet is ready to speak.
Thank you, Alex. My name is Charles, and I am the puppet. I work in a kindergarten classroom, teaching kids to be good and get along. Everyone has an opinion these days, but what I have to say is simply something you've heard your whole lives. Listen, that's it. There are so many problems in the world these days, but just think, it could be all solved so much easier if you just took the time to hear what people have to say. Go back to the basics and listen. And thank you all for taking the time to listen to me.
It was not what anybody had been expecting.
It felt good being Charles' puppeteer. Everything he said through me felt right. It felt really good.
At first, that seemed to be the end of it. The puppet had said its piece. And then, the puppeteers started showing up.
Be nice.
So the puppeteers were just people with puppets. It really started out as kids and kind of like those kindergarten sayings. They were talking about playing nice and be there, but it really started to evolve into more serious things like, have you ever thought about what it was like to be an immigrant? Or let me tell you about how it feels to have an abusive parent. Everyone with a story found their voice, and everyone had a story.
So it was the puppeteers that really got things going. They encouraged people to find their voice and speak about things that were important to them. The more people talked, the more people listened. Eventually this movement became called the S2S movement. Something to say.
I mean, the S2S movement wasn't really all that great. I mean, oppressed voices got to be heard. Boom. But, I mean, practically all it was people got to complain about their sob stories on social media or say whatever was on their mind, like, dogs, yeah! I mean, it was important, yeah, but it didn't really do any good.
What did the S2S movement mean to you?
I had some friends and family members who they definitely kind of came out.
I haven't been that involved, but to a couple of my friends it's meant really quite a bit.
Well, it was kind of like really empowering for me because like I was just a kid back in 2020 and it was just something that made me think I actually had a voice.
The fact that we're waking the country up and being like, hey yo, just listen, is pretty great. It was incredible to see that our opinions finally mattered.
Well, I mean, it gave me hope, you know? I mean, the world has never been a perfect place, and it still isn't, but listening to each other and figuring out and solving so many of the problems we used to have, I mean, it's wonderful.
You know, giving everybody their own voice, pretty inspiring if you ask me.
S2S was not just about encouraging people to talk, but really to stop and listen. It was the idea that I might not like what you have to say, but I respect your right to say it. I'm Taylor Brown, and I am over Hear Our Voice. It's one of the many puppeteer organizations that just give people a voice. We go to those faraway places, those villages, the factories, the inner cities, and we really try and dedicate ourselves to making their lives better by really taking what has before been unsaid and making it heard, recording their stories and sharing them.
Now there are hundreds of these organizations, puppeteer clubs. They make headlines, they bring attention to items that need to change, and things do change. Look at the protection of the oppressed policy passed 2 years ago. Increase in access to clean water by companies and organizations. The near eradication of COVID-19 and the increase in policies combating climate change. It's amazing, when people listen, things change.
Me and a couple of my classmates started a speech and debate club at our school, and it was to help shy kids find their voice. All over the country, the same thing was happening, like Texas, New York, Indiana, and all I could think was, wow, my voice, and all of that.
So why do you think Charles chose you?
I don't think he chose me. I think I was just in the right place at the right time. If he didn't choose me, it was a bad decision because I was shy and I didn't like public speaking.
Well, the S2S movement says otherwise.
Thank you. I was just as surprised as anyone else that people actually listened to me. Charles did, though.
So where is Charles now?
He's usually at my mom's classroom, but I brought him with me today. He doesn't talk anymore. He started talking because he had something to say. He told me. He stopped talking after the interview, and I think that's because he had said all he wanted to say, all he needed to say.
There are so many problems in the world these days, but just think, it could all be solved so much easier if you just took the time to hear what people have to say.